You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Tuesday, happy Mars Day, and welcome to today's episode of Transits Today. It took me a little longer than usual to get here, but luckily there's not too much going on in the forecast today. The most powerful transit we're going to feel is actually very late tonight, Tuesday night. So if you're joining me live, or even if you're finding this video later, you are right on time. And if there's anything astrology has taught me, it's to go with the flow, honor wherever you're at in the moment. And today, this is when I could be here with you all. So I know a few of you here are joining me live. Hi, Katie. Thank you so much. Thanks, Diane. Hi, Nick. Hey, Rachel. She says, I'm always driving that struggle bus. Yeah, I wrote that. It's been a bit of a struggle bus for me today. My day's already better. Hanging with you all. So it's the last day of January. Let's check in with our January 31st Aquariuses. Justin Timberlake is an Aquarius. And it just makes sense. I love that. Also, Kerry Washington, Jonathan Banks, Jackie Robinson was an Aquarius. Talk about someone rebelling against the system, really overturning the system in a lot of ways, marching to the beat of his own drum, doing his own thing. Minnie Driver is an Aquarius. Portia de Rossi, okay. Of course, if you are an Aquarius, if you know someone else, Marcus Mumford of Mumford & Sons, if you know someone celebrating their birthday today, give them a shout out in the comments so we can send a little love their way. So let's get a check on the current energy. The sun is in Aquarius, the moon is in Gemini, still certainly feeling a lot of that airy energy, a lot of mental activation happening with the moon in Gemini, and a lot of communication also that you might be experiencing, because when we have planets in air signs, we're much more intellectual and apt to communicate, especially with the moon in Gemini. Talking about our feelings feels very natural. So let's talk about where we've been, because late last night, in fact, I'll pull up the chart here and we'll jump back a bit. Late last night, the moon met up with Mars. And you might have been able to see that, as we talked about yesterday, if you went outside and looked up at the moon last night. Mars was right next to the waxing gibbous moon in Gemini. But as the moon met up with Mars, it also formed a trine to the sun. So there was a lot of energy late last night. You might have felt restless. I don't know about you, but I was up super late. I had a hard time shutting my mind off. I just was a little irritated, but also just had a lot of energy to work with. And there's something that happened at 1 a.m. shortly after that conjunction between the moon and Mars. In fact, we'll jump back 1 or 2 more hours here so you can see it. The moon formed a sextile to Chiron just after that conjunction to Mars. So this, many of us were probably asleep if you were more responsible than me and forced yourself to go to bed amidst that conjunction. Although I know if you had little kids, they might have had restless sleep too. A friend of mine who has a baby, I think her baby is like 7 or 8 months old now, said that she just had restless sleep, couldn't calm down. Thank you, Mars, right? But this sextile to Chiron that played out right after, there were any irritations, aggravations that popped up during that conjunction to Mars, there was this opportunity for healing that followed, which I really love. I love when the universe has our back like that. It's like, okay, anything that was kind of provoking us or poking at us or creating some sort of dis-ease led us to figure out, what do we still need to heal? Oh, this is still wounded. Okay, just the awareness is healing in itself. So it comes back to that saying, but I think it's Rumi, the wound is the space where the light enters. You know, if you felt any wounding, any irritation, could have been an opportunity for healing that followed. Or you might have had some active dreams with the moon conjunct Mars. That's a possibility as well, maybe even aggressive dreams. And those dreams could have contained some codes, if you will, some healing codes that even if your dream seemed weird, it might have shown, your subconscious might have shown you, I should say, what wounds are still active that can be healed in your waking life. Nick saw it just after sunset, the moon conjunct Mars. Yeah, so that's where we're coming from. And maybe you felt that a little as you woke up too, like, oh, that was a wild night of sleep, or it was kind of restless. There was something on my mind all night. Maybe there's an opportunity for healing there as the moon formed a sextile to Chiron. But the energy we are really feeling as we head into the night tonight, and this is the only major connection we're feeling today. This won't be until 11 p.m. to be exact, Pacific time. So another very late night transit. We'll jump ahead so you can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, the moon squares Neptune. The Gemini moon, very stimulating sign that the moon is in, is squaring Neptune in Pisces. So remember, Neptune rules our sensitivity. It can heighten our intuition, but it's the planet of dreams, so it's very much linked to our subconscious. When we have a square between the moon and Neptune, regardless of the signs that they're in, it amplifies our sensitivities. Remember, a square is provoking, it's activating, it can kind of blindside us a little bit. There's some tension here. So our mind is very active with the moon in Gemini, and our need to rationalize things is directly conflicting in this square with our need to feel things and to be sensitive. Our sensitivities are open, and as the night goes on, you might feel a little overstimulated, a little bit anxious. Reminder as well that when the moon squares Neptune, we're easily confused, we're easily deceived. It's like all of a sudden we're in this cloud and we're feeling everything, but we don't actually know what we're feeling at all. So beware of overanalyzing, trying to overly rationalize things, trying to make sense of things, but also beware of being like too sensitive and too in your feelings as well. It's kind of, I could see us swinging from one to the other under this square between the moon and Neptune. This is a time during the waxing gibbous moon when we're invited to take in information and make adjustments and, just gather more data. And our emotions, as we talked about yesterday, can act as data. But during this square between the moon and Neptune, don't read too far into things. But also, it's like that balancing act, right? Like, don't read too far into things, but also don't just buy into things immediately. In fact, I would just take some time to really calm your nervous system, do things that feel relaxing and help relieve any stress or tension late tonight as the moon squares Neptune. You might feel like watching a movie, checking out into a fantasy. That could actually be a productive outlet for this square between the moon and Neptune. This is not a time to make any decisions, sign any contracts, jump into anything. I mean, it's happening at 11 p.m. Pacific time overnight for a lot of us. And so if you're sleeping during this time, especially if you live on the East Coast, this would be like 2 a.m. for you. With the moon squaring Neptune, you might have another night where active dreams are possible, or confusing dreams, or, really being mentally stimulated in your dreams, like a lot happening in your subconscious state. Rachel says it's been quite an emotional 24 hours, still working through what needs to be healed and working through what are my wounds, what wounds are others. that I may have taken on. Yeah. And remember, when the moon squares Neptune, we are open. We're more sensitive. We might not even realize how sensitive we are. So really checking your energy, protecting your energy, not buying into things, not taking on other people's energy, and not falling down a rabbit hole too easily either. Like, just have some activities that can help you stay present and in your body and calm your nervous system. Or hey, maybe keep a dream journal handy, because you might go on another wild ride in your dreams tonight as well. Hi, Elena. Happy to see you here. Yeah, Rachel's feeling that sensitivity. I ended up pulling cards to help with any anxiety, did some singing to try to release any feelings. A beautiful way to regulate your nervous system is to sing. Singing actually activates your vagus nerve, which is the nerve that runs from, I believe, the base of your, I'm not a doctor, clearly, but from like the top of your spine all the way, it basically regulates your nervous system. I'm not going to try to use medical terms here, but singing regulates your vagus nerve. So that could be something where if you're feeling the confusion, the tension, the anxiety, the sensitivity, like put on a song and sing to it, go for a drive in your car, do something that helps regulate your nervous system. Remember, with the moon in Gemini, our nervous system is activated. Emotionally, we're activated. Gemini rules the nervous system. So with the square to Neptune, we're feeling more sensitive, and our nervous system could even be more sensitive as well. Katie says, in the thick of this Venus and Pisces transit, a lot of neediness around me. I know you've got a lot of little Pisces placements around you. Trying to step back, focus on self-care, journaling little tidbits as the day goes on. Another great way of regulating. Like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling all the things. What's mine that I'm feeling? Let me journal this out. What am I feeling versus the energy of everybody else around me that I'm taking on, or the things that they're feeling, especially with little ones, right? I'm glad you've got some journaling to help work through the emotions that you're feeling. Yeah, I'm good at falling down rabbit holes. Easy to do right now with Venus and Pisces, with the moon squaring Neptune. It can feel like, you know what, I just don't want to be in my body. I just want to check out to somewhere else. Stay in your body. It's all good. But also, if you have a healthy outlet to check out, like I said, watching a movie, or just don't make decisions based off of the rabbit holes you're falling down, right? Ah, Tanner, thank you. The medulla, the mouth of God. That is the word I was looking for. Thank you. You pulled it out of my brain. Hi, Tanner. Yes, helps to differentiate self and others. And while we're talking about this Pisces energy with Venus in Pisces, really easy to, when we love people, to take on their feelings when we're in that watery Pisces energy. And I'm reminded of the saying that I've shared with you before from Brene Brown. You can't have compassion, you can't have empathy without boundaries, without knowing where your emotions end and the other person's begins. This bluebird just landed right outside my window. Feels like a little spirit animal saying hello. And nature is a great way to fall down a rabbit hole in itself, right? Like, nature is a realm in itself that we can tap into, a spiritual realm. So that's a great way of like grounding your body and being like, okay, I'm here in this realm. I want to be here. I'm on Earth. Let me just ground. Grounding would be really great tonight. But also, it's easy to get lost in the mysticism of things. So noticing the animal totems around you, noticing the trees, talk to some trees, talk to some plants tonight, get a little woo-woo. Like, that's fully welcome with the moon squaring Neptune. And with the Gemini moon in this waxing gibbous phase, maybe some guides, some spirit guides can bring through some messages. So there is magic in falling down the rabbit holes and in being sensitive and in being open. We just want to make sure our nervous system is regulated so we can receive those messages, if that makes sense. Ah, yes, vagus nerve also goes to the digestive system, heart and immune system. It has a big effect. Love the awareness to regulate the nervous system. What are you putting in your body? What are you saying about your body, to your body? What subliminal messages are you reiterating to yourself? Your body will start to operate based on those subliminal messages. So could be a great opportunity to just check in with yourself. How am I speaking to myself? How do I feel? How does my body feel? Again, there's power in that sensitivity and being able to be like, oh, I'm really sensitive right now. What am I feeling? Right? But we want to stay regulated through the process. Yeah. And that's it. That's all we're feeling today. In fact, that square to Neptune is probably going to feel more potent just because that's all we're feeling. In fact, I don't think there are even any other major planetary connections still playing out within a degree of each other. Tomorrow, we will talk about the sun forming a sextile to Chiron. So some healing opportunities tomorrow. Tonight's an opportunity to check in with our nervous system, get ourselves regulated. That bird is back. He's just like hanging with me. Get ourselves regulated so we can have those healing realizations tomorrow. And then Venus is doing something on Thursday. What is she doing? She is... I have to look at the forecast. I can't even tell you. Oh, that's what's happening. Venus will be forming a sextile to the north node and a trine to the south node. So there's some forward movement, some healing potential in the next couple days. Friday and Saturday bring some intense transits. We're not going to get there just yet because we've got to focus on getting ourselves in a state to receive the medicine of the transits, getting in our body, understanding we can withstand whatever comes our way as long as we are in a regulated state. So that's the homework tonight. Regulate your nervous system, whatever that looks like for you. Singing, taking a bath, grounding in nature, doing some breath work. Breath work would be great under this airy energy with the moon and sun both in air signs. You got here just in time, Corby. Tanner says there's a really good documentary by Tom Shadyac called I Am, where at one point they talk about the vagus nerve and do electromagnetic heart readings with living cultures as a receptacle. That sounds super cool. That sounds like a great place to check into tonight. Watch a documentary, learn something new, gather some more data under the waxing gibbous moon, or simply watch a fantasy and just check out into another realm. As long as you feel okay in your body while you're doing it, I think that's a win today, to be honest. So I appreciate you all letting me know how the energy is feeling for you. If you're feeling a little sensitive, I certainly have been today, just really feeling all the feelings. The moon is coming into a square with Neptune. In fact, right now, the moon is, let me see, at this moment, the moon is at 20 degrees, so we're really starting to feel that square to Neptune. Probably started earlier this afternoon, wherever you are in the past couple hours, starting to feel that sensitivity creep in. And also acknowledging, okay, where is like 20 to 23 degrees of Gemini in my chart? That's where the moon is. And also, where is 20 to 23 degrees of Pisces in my chart? That's where Neptune is. So those areas are going to be activated a little more. That might be where we're feeling more sensitive, what we're feeling more sensitive about, or even the answer to regulating our nervous system, understanding what area of my chart is the moon in and how can I nurture myself through that area of my life. Yeah, that'll be on my midheaven Mars South node. Yeah, I'm feeling that midheaven energy too, right there with you, Rachel. Like, I'm really focused on work today and like getting a lot done, but I'm still emotionally feeling really sensitive. So it's confusing. In general, this transit, if there was one word for the moon squaring Neptune, it would be confusing. And it's okay if you feel confused. Just try to find safety in yourself to navigate that confusion. And it's not a time to find the answers or make decisions, right? I'm used to this energy. Yeah. The moon has been conjunct my Venus today, Elena says. It's been a good day. I set the intention to just enjoy this day. Perfect for a conjunction between the moon and Venus in your chart. And this just goes to show, Elena's having a good day. She's got Venus in Gemini. The moon is conjunct her Venus. She's like, I don't know what you all are talking about. So that's why it's so important to understand our own charts. We all experience the transits in our own unique way. We all experience the transits differently. And having a fortunate placement in your chart, having the moon conjunct Venus, you're probably going to have a totally different experience than, for example, if someone had like Saturn conjunct the moon. Opposite experience, probably a lot harder, right? Or even Mars conjunct the moon, as Rachel is feeling today. The moon conjunct her Mars, bringing that agitation, that restlessness. So a big reason why I started transit tracking. And those of you who are in the course, you already know, you're already learning. But after this month-long container is done, I'm going to have it available to you, all the information I'm giving out during the course, so you can just do it on your own time and learn how to apply these forecasts to you and to your chart. Oh, in the 6th house. Okay. All right. So I don't know. I could see you having like a really great meal tonight. Or maybe just like feeling really good about your health, your wellness, your routine. Yeah, love this for you. Just soak in that positive transit for the rest of us. Rachel, I just cried through the work. That's honestly how I've been feeling today. I'm like really motivated to I introduced a new offering for my business, like really like making a lot of moves in the work space today in my career, in the things that are bringing me money, to be honest. But also I was in my pajamas doing it most of the day, like feeling sensitive. That's funny. The moon is moving through Gemini in my 7th house. Nick says no planetary placements, but maybe more emotional focus on your relationships, or even with the moon squaring Neptune, maybe confusion about your relationships as well. Corby says, my day has been really good after I chose to be courageous and not lean into fear. And I think you came in after we talked about the sextile to Chiron, but that conjunction to Mars overnight really could have lit that courageous spark in you. And it feels like just you saying this is healing in itself with the sextile to Chiron that followed. Like, I chose not to lean into fear. That is healing. That is healing. Amazing. Oh, thank you, Corby. I'm glad you're enjoying it so far. All right. Those are the transits. And the affirmation I chose for today is, I honor moments of stillness. Because we didn't have a ton going on in the forecast today, maybe you had some downtime. Maybe you weren't feeling too much activation. In fact, the first transit we talked about was at 1 a.m. Pacific time. The second transit we talked about is right around midnight Pacific time. So today was a day where there was kind of an energetic lull. And honoring any moments of stillness, there's a lot of integration that can happen in stillness. And yes, we might be feeling a little more sensitive as the day goes on, but even if you just have a moment to yourself to just breathe, take a deep breath, that's a moment to honor. That's a moment to celebrate, if you ask me. Just a moment of awareness, a moment of stillness, right? And let's, even if you haven't gotten a moment of stillness today, let's take one together. Whether you are joining me live or finding this video later, we're going to do a poll from The Universe Has Your Back, a really simple message to go with this very simple forecast today. But let's honor the stillness of the moment by taking one nice deep breath collectively, the deepest breath you've taken all day, the greatest gift you can give to yourself, just a moment to regulate our nervous system. So as you exhale, let out an audible sigh and send some energy into this deck. I guess I should probably shuffle a little bit too. All right. Before we take our breath. Oh, hey, Diane. I'm like, someone's commenting. It's Diane popping in just in time for the card pull. Okay. So grateful for these moments of awareness. Was literally writing about it, realizing there was a time when I wasn't this aware or courageous. Yes. Proud of you. Amazing. Awareness is everything, right? Okay. Here we go. One nice deep breath. Inhale. And exhale. What do we need to know? I love this for what Corby was just talking about. The presence of love always casts out fear. The presence of love will always cast out fear. Yes, we can choose love. And sometimes loving ourselves just means taking that deep breath. It means cranking up the music in our car and screaming at the top of our lungs. It means going out and putting our feet in the grass, putting our feet in the dirt and grounding. Loving yourself and regulating your nervous system go hand in hand. I promise you. So the presence of love will always cast out fear, and it's a lot easier to choose love over fear when we're not in fight or flight mode, when we're not super sensitive, when we're just like, I got this. I'm regulated. I'm good. I can handle anything that comes my way. The presence of love will always cast out fear. Yes. Corby called this card in. I mean, this is basically what you said before we pulled the card. Oh, a hummingbird just flew by Alyssa and her cute little pup to say hi. I've been feeling a lot of bird energy lately. Like the birds have been coming to me. I don't know if it's because we're inching towards spring and they're out more, but we had a hummingbird, 2 hummingbirds actually fly right up to us on a walk last night. That bird that just popped by outside of my window feels very appropriate for all of the air energy of the day today, right? Choosing peace and patience today. Really love this card. The presence of love will always cast out fear. Peace and patience are other words for love, right? It's not easy, but when you do, there's peace, joy, stillness on the other side. When you choose courage, when you choose love, there's peace, joy, and stillness on the other side. Yeah. In my tribe's lore, hummingbirds are ancestors visiting. I really feel that. Anytime I see one, I'm like, oh my gosh, you came to say hi. Oh, I love that. I love hummingbirds. And Rachel saw deer this morning. You all know I'm obsessed with deer. I've had like a lifelong obsession with deer, you guys. My grandma used to have those those deer statues in your yard. She's had them my whole life. And I have pictures from when I was like 2 years old and I would go sit with them and talk to them. So my spirit animals coming through, even in the chat, coming through you guys. I love it. I love you sharing this with me. All right, everybody, one last time. The presence of love will always cast out fear. Sending love to you all. I'm so proud of you and so grateful you showed up for this late afternoon live stream with me today. This community helps me regulate my nervous system in so many ways and just reminds me that I'm loved and supported, and I hope it does the same for you. I hope you know how amazing you are. I hope you know how incredible it is that you have the awareness to take this moment and reflect on your emotions, and I hope you know that you have all the tools to regulate your nervous system. You can do it in a simple breath. You can do it in a few breaths. You can do it by screaming in a pillow. Whatever feels good to you, use your tools and know that you are worth loving yourself enough to have a regulated nervous system. I have it on video, but it's grainy. Oh, send it to me. I love the grainy video anyway. So Italian grandma, yeah. We used to have a hummingbird that would perch outside our kitchen window. It was the cutest thing and so beautiful in the sunlight. Nick says he chilled in the sun today with his cat in his lap with the blue jays. Sunlight can help you regulate your nervous system. Just sitting in the sun and soaking in those light codes, right? Loving you, Corby. Sending you all the air hugs. Hope you all have a beautiful day. You came just in time for the message, Diane. We are sending you some love and hoping that you're feeling better. I know you've been sick. Hummingbirds can navigate the upper, middle, and lower worlds all at once while being playfully graceful. I love that. Just soaking in all this love from you all. Taking one final moment to send it right back to you. Love to you always. I will see you all tomorrow. But whenever I see you next, until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.